Hey, what's up, everybody? How do you process emotions? That's my question. Do you? Do you know how to process your emotions? So, check this out. I'm back. It's another episode. It's all on me, right? Taking total ownership of life here in 2022, turning my story into a message. I was just kicking back here and I started feeling really sad and lonely, and I was really missing somebody that I've lost, that I can't just pick up the phone and call. And, I had to have a moment with myself. I got really emotional. And one of the things I've learned really the most this past year is really how to identify and name and then allow my emotions to process. Trust me, this technique does not work in the heat of a battle. If you're in any kind of a conflict with somebody or something like that, this is not what I'm talking about. This is more of just when you're on your own, right? You're feeling anxious about something, sad, depressed, lonely, just all the mix of emotions, especially coming out of the holidays. I think we really it's heightened, right? The loss of people that are near and dear to us that are no longer there for all kinds of different reasons. And it's really a difficult time. And so we have these emotions pop back up. And so again, part of this journey of self-healing for me has been to really connect with my emotions. And so what I was feeling, though, that sadness and loneliness and just missing somebody that I can't just pick up a phone and call or text. And so what I did was I actually fed it. I fed the emotions. And it takes a lot of work. Because one, we're not even connected with our emotions most of the time. But it takes a lot of work. And so I sat there and I put in my earbuds and I played a song that I knew would really bring back a memory that I had with this person, and I knew it'd really spark it would capture the feeling of that person, what they meant to me. And by playing that, it really like drove the emotions to even open up more, because my whole goal is to be more grounded as a man and as a human. This is not just a man or woman thing. This is really just a human element. We're all connected. That's the one thing that connects us all. We're different on all kinds of other levels, but one place where we're not is our emotions. And so I was feeling this sense of sadness for loss. And I played a song and it really broke me down. I broke down pretty good. And I don't know, maybe I don't look it right now, but it's just about 5-10 minutes ago. So I hope there's a lesson here for you to learn if you're someone that's wanting to grow in this area and not allow your emotions to continue to control you. So what happens is if you feel sad or you're feeling anxious or whatever you're feeling, a lot of times we try and suppress it. We try and lock it inside of us, or, do something that's going to heighten our stimulation and get our mind off of it. So we either try to bury it or ignore it. And neither one of those brings about the healing we desire. So if you're someone that's seeking that healing this year, 2022, this is going to be the year that you're going to actually do some healing, some inner work. It's going to take a lot from you. But when you can recognize that there's something going on in your body, and it's attached to a trigger, it's attached to a feeling and an emotion that you're having, it's really good for you to be able to name it. And I'll put up the emotional wheel. Hit me up if you want me to send that to you. But if you want the emotional wheel, I'll post it in there. And then the other thing is you got to name it. So first you got to identify. You got to know that something's happening. You're having a feeling that's connected to an emotion. And once you're able to identify it, you name it. And then the thing is you just allow it to be. And one of the coping mechanisms that I've had is just in the healing is self-acceptance, is to know that, our emotions is how we know we're alive. It's really the beating of our heart, right? It's like, wow, I feel this way, and it's okay. It's okay to feel a certain way if you're hurting, right? If someone's hurt you, or there's pain there from a void or loss, or there's just so many different ways. Usually we don't worry so much if we're excited, yay, but it's the negative spectrum of emotions, right? The grief and the loneliness and the sadness and the hurt and the pain, those types of feelings. The anxiety is when we need to allow it to just process. And if we don't control it, right, we just basically sit in it and just comfort ourselves. Self-talk is a big piece of my healing, is really the dialogue I have with myself. So it's knowing, it's being human to myself. Like, be your best friend. The biggest breakthrough for me was when I started to realize that everything I want from out of someone else, whether that's a relationship, a partnership, a friendship, I gotta be myself first. Like, if I'm wanting someone to be, like, I'm trying to find a partner that's, loving and caring and kind and thoughtful and faithful and committed, well, guess what? You better check off every one of those on your list. Write down your list of what kind of friendships and partnerships and relationships you're wanting, and the characteristics of those people. And guess what? You need to check off all those on your own list. Like, make sure you do it. So it's a really difficult thing, you guys, to sit there in your emotions and just let it happen. Like, be able to be in such a safe and secure private place that you can have a little breakdown, right? If you need to rage, you can rage. If you need to cry your eyes out, cry your eyes out. If you need to curl up in a little ball, curl up in a little ball. I know there's a lot of people out there, I'm too fucking tough for that. I don't need to do that shit. I'm a man and all that bullshit. There's so many side effects to when you suppress your emotions. And at the end of the day, you're going to find outlets for those feelings. And they're going to come out usually in some pretty negative behaviors, whether it's, self-medicating, overuse of drugs and alcohol, prescription pills, sex. Like, there's all kinds of different ways, even just toxic relationships, abusive relationships. There's a lot of different ways that our emotions grab a hold of us, and then they find their way out. And this is a way for you to empower yourself to have control. I think that was the scariest thing for me, is when I had to reconcile everything that I've been through and really examine myself in the mirror. I had to really look at myself in the mirror and say, who am I? And, I started writing all the ego strokes of all the beautiful, great things. Yay, 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 you're so cool. But then I started writing all the bad things. And guess what? My list is about equal. When I flesh everything I can out, it's about equal. I challenge you to do the same thing if you want to do some more self-discovery, right? Start writing down a list of every amazing attribute you have. But then I also challenge you to do the dark side and get honest with yourself. Start writing down some of those devious things about you. And here's the thing. You're not going to change my mind. You can believe what you want. Every single one of us is capable of the most heinous, disgusting, grotesque, horrific things. And we are also capable of the most loving, kind, compassionate, caring things. Like, it's just the yin and yang. It's the light and the dark. And I think it's just a part of our nature. And so there's so much to dig in on this topic. And so I don't want to take up this whole video doing that, but allow your emotions to process. Sit in your emotions, and what you'll see is that the emotion will process in about 60 seconds, 2 minutes tops, and then you feel better. But you hold on to it, man, you have a shitty day the rest of your day. But it's really that self-talk is saying, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to miss that person. It's okay to, you know, it's okay that they're gone. And it's okay to still love them. It's okay to still hold on to the memories of them and the thoughts of them and the even the dreams that you had. But at some point, when it becomes sucker ass shit, is when you sit there stuck in the loss for extended period of time. And I'm not trying to be cold hearted for those of you that are grieving loss, because it's your timetable when it comes to grieving a loss like that. But ideally, those feelings, what happens is that the emotions come and go. So they come through in cycles. You don't just, it's really hard to stay in one emotional state for a long period of times, but we can find ourselves doing it, especially with like the grieving and the sorrowfulness. Those can stick with us for a while. But try being angry for like 2 days, like, rah, I'm so mad. It's really hard. It takes so much energy. And that's really what it's about, is being kind to yourself, forgive yourself, allow yourself time to heal. And that's what I had to do right now. The moral of this whole entire story was I gave myself a minute to process emotions so I could heal. I want to heal the loss of this person that meant the world to me in the right way. And the right way to do it is to continue working on myself, sticking to my daily 5, right? The things that keep me growing and striving to be a better version of myself day after day. But it's also doing this other work, and some of it I need professional help. I have, therapist sessions twice a week. And I'm so grateful for my therapist. She's an amazing therapist. I don't know where I'd be without her quality. And it does take a lot of effort to get a quality therapist. It also takes a lot of effort and guts and courage for you to ask for help, right? We all want to figure this out on our own. And I'm putting this content out here because I've done most of this all on my own. And it's been a very challenging journey for me to get to this point, to really own what it is. 10 years sobriety, coming out of 2 years of divorce, and just so much healing and growth, dropping over 55 pounds, switching up my nutrition, getting back in the gym, building businesses again, getting back in that, growth mindset for 2022 of truly trying to only beat who I was yesterday. That's all I'm asking you. Join me on this journey to become a better version of who you were yesterday, if even just that much. Right? Some of you might go farther than that, but I want to kind of spread that message of you're not doing this on your own. Regardless of the stuff that you're embarrassed of that you've been through, I guarantee you someone is living the dream life that you desire and has been through even worse than you. What do you think about that? That's hard to hear. And we beat ourselves up and we stay complacent. I'm here to light a fire under your ass. Let's go. Let's start moving in the right direction, start healing in the right ways, right? Self-medication, to just numb the pain, it doesn't heal the pain. Numbing does not heal. Healing takes time, but there's also ways that you can accelerate the healing if you desire to do so. And this is one of those ways where, again, there was something that I either saw or said that just brought back this vivid memory. And it really took me from just being like awesome, having a great morning, great day, to being like, I need a minute. I'm hurting. And so to realize that my body needed a minute, and to not just ignore that. We don't always get the opportunity. Sometimes we got to put on our big girl, big boy pants and just play the part. But this was a moment I was here in my room, relaxing for a moment, and this happened, and I was able to really fan the flames of it and really stay in there, stay in that moment, call it what it was: sadness, loneliness, pain, just the pain of loss. And it broke me down to a very emotional state, and yet I just let it process, hurting until it just soothed itself and released. and now I'm free. And you can be free too of those pains if you practice this and really just start to have more compassion on yourself. That's something I've always been challenged with, is being really hard on I think a lot of us, we're our own biggest critic, hardest critic, and we beat ourselves up mentally and emotionally. We really beat ourselves up for the mistakes we've made, for the things we've done, the missed opportunities, and we got to stop that. That needs to stop. We have to start changing what we tell ourselves. We have to start believing in ourselves. We have to start reimagining the dreams and the hopes that we had for a bright future. And we need to really get to that place again. And I hope that I can guide you on it's all on me. Take responsibility for your life. Join me on this journey. Thrive through life. Greg out.